Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are getting into the first episode of Love is Blind USA season 7. So we are back, people. We are back. Okay, and episode 1 is called No More Situationships, okay, because that's not what we want in our lives anymore, or so they say up in here. Anyway, before I get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, do all the good things that you do, because I am continuing to be on the road to 1K. And yes, I know yous are going to tell me off. I need to be more consistent with my content, and I will. It's just that work has been killing me so far. I've been so busy, just so busy. But I will say thank you to all the new subscribers that have come in, and I thank you for rocking with me thus far. Anyway, let's get into this episode. As I already said, was called No More Situationships. Anyway, so we are back again. I don't need to explain the concept to you because we already know what it is. We already know all about it. Well, I mean, we're 7 seasons in, people. I don't need to explain what Love is Blind is and the concept all over again. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so let's see who gets the wish that they want, comes out on top, says I do. Let's see if there's going to be drama and upsets along the way, because it always seems to be the way when it comes to this show. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, as it comes on, it does start with, you see the guys singing together, like in the men's lounge. And I'm like, okay, is this how it's going to start? But no. As time goes on and the song builds up, the edits come in. But again, me being me, I ain't going to trust the edits, because I used to just trust the edits and think, oh, this is the way it's going to happen. It did look spicy. I ain't gonna lie, it did kind of look spicy, but I'ma see what comes up first. I ain't gonna fully trust the edits this time around. So, in come the Lachey's, as they do, welcoming the new participants. And the first person that starts to speak is a young woman called Yenny. And basically she's there because she says looks fade, and she wants someone who will choose her through thick and thin. And I'm like, but will you get that in this scenario at the end of the day? Because we see so many of these where they start off so well and then they kind of just flounder along the way and kind of taper out, or make you look like a damn fool when you get up in front of the people, them and everyone, and the man, after you say I do, the man says he don't. Do you know what I mean? I've always said that in order for it to work, I think, in my belief, secret ingredient is you have to find a common goal with the person that you are interested in. There has to be that common goal in terms of what marriage looks like to both of you, and also that you are truly, well and truly at that point of wanting to get married to someone, not just because you want airtime and that's why you've made an application to this show to do that, because that quickly comes out. Do you know what I mean? So we see in the guys' lounge that Tyler's a good looking mixed man. He's a good looking man, I ain't gonna lie. Basically, previously to what he does when he's out and about, he meets girls based off their looks, is what he's saying, and it's gotten him nowhere, because I've always said you cannot judge a book by its packaging, do you know what I mean, or by its cover or whatever you want to call it. Because at the end of the day, the outer packaging may look good, but if you're so done deep and dirty, yeah, then that will definitely come out in the water. Let's just put it that way. So basically, he wants someone with a bit of substance. So I've always said that I'm more about personality than I am with looks about people, because I want to know who you are, because it's your personality and the substance that's in you that is going to stand the test of time, because your looks are going to fade at the end of the day. There's some lucky ones out there that, you know what, it takes a long time for their looks to fade, but they could still genuinely be nice people. Do you know what I mean? So then we go back to the women's lounge, and Marissa is basically saying that she wants someone who will accept her for her weak self and her strong self. And again, I do question if they would truly find that in there, because everyone is going to be putting on a show basically, unless they're genuine in their feelings. Majority of these people, men and the women, are going to be there to impress. Let's just put it that way. So then we meet a guy called Ramses, and he says that he basically loves the concept of this experiment, because he's hoping for the people to get to know him for who he is on the inside. And again, I will say that will only work if you are vulnerable enough with someone to show them your true self. And in terms of who you then get vulnerable with, that person has to make you feel safe and comfortable while you are doing that, and accepting of you as well, because you ain't literally gonna get open and vulnerable with someone on the first instance, bearing in mind you can't see this person's facial reactions, nothing. You don't even know what they look like. All you're going by is by the tone of their voice. That's all you're going by at the end of the day, and the things that they more than likely say, because the shit sometimes hits the fan quite quickly with some people. So basically, Monica has said that she wants a bit more depth than what you can basically get in the dating world. I thought, well, one thing you're gonna get in this place is bloody depth, because that's all there is. That's all there can be. At the end of the day, you have to be a good conversationalist to make this work, and be able to listen, be able to actively listen to what is being said to you and what is being shared with you, and take note of it in order to have those proper conversations. Because at the end of the day, it's got to be a two-way street with both of you. If you are not there actively listening to that person, then you are never going to get that person interested in the person that you perceive yourself to be at the end of the day. So one thing I don't particularly like with this show is that it isn't until later on, after, like, you know, the show is done, then you find out that actually there are a lot more matches than what we actually see going forwards on the TV. And to be fair, I don't think it's fair and a bit of a disservice to those couples, even if they didn't make it like to the engagement, or they did get engaged but didn't make it to the honeymoon. You should still be able to see their journey. You should still be able to see everyone's journey. Albeit it's going to make the show a little bit longer, but you'll make it a little bit more interesting, rather than being concentrated on the successful ones who actually go beyond the bloody engagement to the honeymoon. I still think you need to see everybody's journey at the end of the day. So Ali is basically saying that she has never been in a relationship, only situationships. Me, myself, when I hear someone say that, that you've never been in a relationship and you've come on a show like this, I'm just wondering how you be able to break that pattern of behavior, because it will be dependent on what the person says to you, because you ain't going to know the difference, as in, is this going to be my long-term buddy, or by the time we get out, am I going to be jumping into a different type of situation? Do you know what I mean? And it's how she's then going to be able to probably pinpoint the differences in terms of what people say to her, in terms of what people don't say to her. Because I think sometimes on this show you kind of have to start reading between the lines, and reading not so much into what people are saying, but how they're saying it. So basically, Hannah is the youngest of the women there, and she quit her job to be there. But at the end of the day, she's comfortable. She's able to do that because, as she said, she got her dream job. She got all the money she could ever wish for. But now she just literally wants to be able to share her life with someone. So basically, she don't have to worry about nothing. So that's why she's quit her job to be there. So then they say that the pods are open. So we get to the first dates. You see Leo and Tara having a bit of a confab. And I'm like, okay, they seem good. And then you see Yenny, because be prepared, they're just starting out. She says to Perry that she hates lettuce, and she won't eat anything that has lettuce on it. Perry just sits there as if to say, I don't know what you expect me to say to that. And I just thought, is that really how you started your conversation with Perry Yenny? Come on now. Like, seriously. Get to the groove a little bit. Get into the groove a little. I know you don't want to go in hard, hot and heavy straight away. But talking about the fact that you hate lettuce ain't something like your prospective other really wants to freaking know, to be honest with you. So Monica basically speaking to Jason. Now, Monica is 36 and she's gorgeous with it. And I don't even think being 36 is that old, to be honest with you. But Jason, who's 29, hesitates because Monica is 36 years old. And he hesitated because of her age. And he had the audacity to say that out loud. He had the audacity to say that out loud. And I'm kind of like, my guy, you are going to play yourself out of contention, because majority of the people, of the women there, are in their 30s. Some are in their late 20s. Do you know what I mean? Hitting 30s. So what are you going to do then? Because at the end of the day, my guy, you're 29. Jason's 29. He's 1 year away from freaking 30. And he had the audacity to tell a woman who was 36 years old that she's too old. My God. My God. Anyway, so we get to Ashley A. Ashley A is gorgeous. Gorgeous black girl. And she dates David first and foremost. So she, in her VC, goes on about being 31 and not finding many guys like that are willing to be serious or wanting to get married. And I'm kind of like, when did it become the norm for people in their 30s to think that they're old? Because if that's the case, I'm fucking ancient. Do you know what I mean? Because I surpassed my fucking 30s. I mean, they need to stop putting emphasis on age unless they really need to. If you know what I mean, yeah, unless they really need to put emphasis on age. But when you hit these big ages, like late 20s into your 30s, into your 40s, they need to stop putting emphasis on age, man. Because at the end of the day, you are all grown adults. So you're gonna so stop putting this emphasis or this timeline on this needs to be done by a certain age. Because I tell you for what, half the time it don't happen. Let's just put it that way, it don't happen. So Ashley A is basically saying in her VC that she's still shocked as to why she's single. And I'm thinking, well, we'll probably tend to find out why as the show goes on, because right now everybody's just putting on, a facade of genuineness, and then the realness will start to come out when issues start to come to the forefront. So Ashley A basically says that she comes from divorced parents and she has watched her mom remarry, and that didn't work out either. So she's basically said that she's always wanted to get married. So I'm thinking Ashley A's already done heaped like pressure upon herself, basically, on she's wanting to be the first one. She wants to be married and stay married. So I was just like, I think there's going to be a lot to unpick with our Ashley A. Let's just put it that way. I think there's going to be a lot to unpick. So Ashley A ends up meeting Tyler. They seem to be getting on with each other, and they both know that they're both foodies. Tyler likes to cook and he has a hiking buddy in his puppy. So basically Tyler was completely nervous and he shared that with Ashley A. That's why he wasn't necessarily asking her a lot of questions at this point in time, but he did confirm to Ashley A that her voice was quite calming and brought his nerves down. So at that point when he said that, I was like, well, come on, my guy, ask her some questions anyway. So he does, and Ashley A told him about the fact that she does sit on a non-profit that is geared towards women and children. And I thought, kudos to you, my girl. And Tyler does like that as well. They both do want kids. So it seems like Tyler is very much into Ashley A right about now. I think Tyler's going to be the one to put all his eggs in one basket when it comes to Ashley A. So, and Ashley A's been quite vocal in the fact that she does like Tyler too. So we meet Nick D, who I believe covers his nerves and insecurities in flirty banter and sarcasticness. But when it comes to that, even though it might be his tried and tested true type of position that he moves to when he's on the outside with women, it's not going, that is not going to work in the pods, like, seriously, because you want these women to know who you are and to take you seriously. So it basically goes down the line, and you see Nick having a date with Ashley W, and basically she pulls out straight away that he's a smooth talker, and she was actually questioning then if he's a little bit of an F-boy, and she's kept that in her mind. And this is why I say these people, you can't play like that in the pods, like, seriously, because what they need to realize is that if one girl or even two girls, get a thought in their mind that you're a bit of an F-boy, they will take that back to the women's lounge in terms of discussing certain situations about men. And what Nick D failed to realize is that, you know, there could be someone in there that you actually will, like, gravitate towards. But if that person is quite easily led and will listen to the white noise that's going on in the women's lounge, you won't stand a cat in hell's chance. So Nick D needed to get rid of this. Yeah, there's times where you can have the flirty banter, but every single girl he was talking to, it was flirty. It was a little bit too much in my books. So he has another date with Katie, and basically he's talking about the fact that he was a kicker and a punter, and Katie point blank says that you too much of a smooth talker to be a kicker and a punter because you're way too swaggy for that. And again, Nick D is not doing himself any favours, as I keep saying, by coming off too flirty and overly confident. Don't get me wrong, it's great to be confident, but you have to be careful that you don't sneak into the territory of arrogance. And that's what Nick D has to watch out for. Nick D is talking in his VC, and he basically says that he's never been in love. So I'm kind of like, okay then, but how would you know when that love hits you? How would you know the difference if you've never felt that before? He's basically said that he's scared thinking about all this stuff, and he does overthink things. But you wouldn't think that from how he portrays himself within those pods. I think Nick D is scared to be vulnerable with someone, but he needs to literally take a step back, get away from this tried and tested and true thing that he normally does, because obviously he's there because whatever he's doing ain't working in the dating world. It's not working. You see Hannah and Nick have a conversation, and basically Hannah and Nick are bouncing off each other. They do bounce off each other. They are both the youngest ones in the group, but Nick again is still coming off a little bit he needs to temper that. Nick D seemed to be more open with Hannah, and not so much with the overconfidence as he did in the beginning. So, and Hannah was talking about in her VC that she does have a hang up in people not liking her due to her weight. And I'm like, well, I don't think she looks that bad, to be honest with you. And I mean, some women who are thickums look good, in my opinion, to be honest. So we then have Hannah and Leo, who have a date, and Leo is an art dealer. And Hannah, they do have a good chat, and they have their back and forth. They're actually getting to know each other. They're actually chatting about certain things that they like and don't like and stuff like that. They do have a full-on conversation about food. And Leo basically says that he likes Hannah, and it seems as though Hannah likes him too. But at that point, it just wasn't selling it for me too much. So basically, Leo is saying in his VC that he's scared that a girl will want him for just his money. And basically, but he says that being in the pods kind of takes that element out of it. So you can only allow them that much information as you wish to be honest with you. So in terms of Leo, I would have said that it's like on a need to know basis. Not everybody needs to know that this man comes from money and has money and yada yada yada, but they've the vibe that I got from Leo as time went on, especially when he was in the men's lounge, is he's a little bit materialistic. And he likes to show off, and he likes to tell people about his status, his standard, his money, this, that, and the other. And they're all going on about the fact that he's wearing a Rolex. So that's the type of person that Leo is. So it isn't going to surprise me, because I haven't got there yet, so I'll find out as I go along. It won't surprise me if Leo ends up with a person like Brittany, and I will get to Brittany very, 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 very soon, because the next thing that comes up is Leo and Brittany have a date. So basically, Leo is talking about the fact that, he's a bit of a planner, and Brittany turns around and she says, well, one of us has to have a brain. And I'm like, girl, come on, bruv. Come on, bruv. Seriously? So basically, Brittany in her VC says that she's single because she likes to chase fun. I'm like, okay then, if that's the case, will you be serious in the pods, my girl? Will you be serious in the pods if that's what you like to do? You like to chase the fun, do you know what I mean? So she says that she usually dates athletes and rock stars, and she is so overly confident too that she believes that she could easily seduce all of the guys in there for them to fall in love with her and ask her to marry her. Now, this is what I mean, where you could have a nice, pretty outer packaging, but the substance within you is shit. And that's what's coming to me, in my view, when it comes to Brittany. Yeah, she's playing. I think she's playing at being a bit of a hairhead, and she's quite calculated in her behaviours and what she does. Yeah, and she thinks this facade, this fascia of her is going to get her and net her what she wants. So basically, Brittany said that she is your preferable trophy wife. So that's in essence what Brittany wants. She don't want to work. Yeah, she doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to be getting things for herself. She wants to be catered for completely. So she needs a man with means. She wants a man with money. And then she wonders why majority of them ain't married her yet. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so all I thought when it came to Brittany, that she is hella high maintenance. She's going to be high maintenance. So she ends up having a date with a guy called Tamar. And he basically asks her what was the last thing she cooked, and she says a smoothie. I was like, why is she there? Like, honestly, why is she there? Sometimes I think that they plant these people there just for the acquaintance, just for the show of it sometimes, like, seriously. So she ends up having a date with this guy called Garrett. And basically, he wishes to be a marine biologist. And the only reason why that came up is because he asked her, well, what do you do for work? And she says that she is in skincare. And she hosts beach cleanups, basically. So I was like, okay. I think she's giving the sense that this woman wants to be a kept woman. Yeah, she ain't got no job. She's waiting to be cared for. And as again, can somebody say high maintenance when it comes to Brittany? Like, seriously. So Garrett does come out of that room and he turns to Tyler and he says straight away, that's not my girl. That girl is not for me. So whatever Brittany is aiming for, I don't think is really going to come to fruition in the pods. She might, I will say, get it with Leo, because Leo seems to be freaking fickle. Let's just put it that way. So with that, Garrett does talk a little bit about himself, and he talks about how he's prioritized like what he does outside of work over finding love. But then that tells me, in the case of everything, because your life is so fulfilled with doing certain things where you prioritize finding someone or a companion to be with, to share in your good times, your bad times, your worst times, whatever times you call it, then how are you going to prioritize a wife and children? How are you going to be able to do that? How is he going to adapt and make that leap? Is he going to have space for that? So Garrett then meets Taylor. So Taylor and Garrett's chat, I have to say, is really quite good. They have a lot of things in common. They talked about their tattoos and what it was to do with. And I got the impression that Garrett and Taylor spoke each other's language, and Taylor came out of that conversation actually crushing on Garrett. So now they go back to their separate rooms, and this is where I say people need to keep their cards close to their chest, because we've seen it time and time before where the galleys and some of the lads have gone in to chat their business with the people about the people that they like, not necessarily realizing that other people would have had dates with the people that you like, and they may have formed stronger connections. Yeah, you need to keep that shit close to your chest, because for real, Ashley A then already starts telling someone about her connection with Tyler. I was like, my girl, shush, don't let that out. Don't let that out. So you see Tyler though in the men's room, as again, keep that shit close to your chest, but he doesn't, and he does let it out the bag that he was talking about Ashley A, and he rates her a 12 out of 10. Me personally, I don't relate the rating shit, because you either like someone or you don't like someone. Don't stand there and rate them, because what are you rating them against? Do you know what I mean? So basically Garrett is already saying that he's ranked one of the girls the highest, which I believe is Tyler, because he said that they hit all his points of conversation. So then we go to Nick D, and he puts Hannah at the top of his list. I could see that, to be fair, because they did to me, they kind of gelled a little bit more than Nikki D did with anybody else. But as I said, it's not going to work well for Nicky D, because he was so flirty and overconfident with all the other girls that he dated before he got to Hannah. So Ashley W does say to the girls that Nick D, I told you it was coming, gave her smooth talker, but Hannah does bite back and says that, well, I like Nick's voice at the end of the day. All I'm going to say is people need to be careful with this, because at the end of the day, each person is going to have a different experience with each individual that they meet. And it kind of depends on the vibe that you bring out in that person. So with Hannah and Nikki D, they have things in common and it worked for them. So with Ashley W, she may have her own thoughts of this guy, but all I would say is don't put it onto the other person that's actually liking the guy that they're getting to know right now, because that's not fair. That's honestly not fair. Unless there's an absolute red flag, yeah, then keep your mouth shut. Let the girl work through what she needs to work through with the person that she's deciding to have dates with at the end of the day. So then you got Katie then piping up as well, and talked about Nick D being so charming. At first I thought, oh, there might be a possible competition between Katie and Hannah, but I don't think that comes to fruition. So now we get to day 2, and we start to hear a little bit more about Tim. And basically he's saying that he's always misunderstood by people that he's been intimate with, and that his mind to him is his most intimate part of him. So I would then ask, well, what type of women are you meeting, my guy? And is it all their fault, honestly, that they don't understand him? Or could it be missing in translation? Or could he be misinterpreting what it is that they mean? But hey ho, we'll see what happens with Tim. So Tim basically, see here, when it comes up, he talks about the fact that he was an absolute dog in the past. Then he wonders why people misunderstood him. Okay. So basically he was saying that he was a man in the head but a boy in his body. I'd have said that a boy in his head but a man on the outer. I don't know how you could be a man in your head but a boy in your body, because that don't work. That don't work, because if he says he was a dog in the past and he didn't really treat women all that well, then you were a boy in your head, my love. You weren't a man in your head because you weren't thinking man things in that sense. Has he left those dog days behind? Proof will be in the pudding. So then we have Tim and Alex. And basically he says to Alex that he's been waiting to speak to her. So they talk about astrology, they talk about tattoos, and the fact that he's got a lion, but he's not a Leo, but he does want to add a lioness next to his lion. Alex then opens up a little bit more in terms of talking about her background and the fact that both her mom and stepdad have MS. And basically she watched and witnessed her mom pick her dad up, support him, do what she needed to do for him during his journey with MS. So when her mom then got MS and she then had to walk with a cane, she said her stepdad skiddle-daddled out the woman's life. I was like, what in that? How heinous do you have to be to do that to someone? She literally helped you through your journey with MS, and then when she got it, man disappeared. Man went, don't know you no more. It's like, okay. So Alex and Tim do get into a deep conversation. Tim does talk about the fact that he had two older sisters that essentially passed away, so he was the younger boy. So basically he had to deal with grief and how it makes him feel, and he did get upset. And then this is what it means: grief never necessarily goes away, it comes on in peaks and troughs, and that's what it is with Tim. Alex was there for him, to be fair. She gave him the reassurance that he needed to hear, and she was quiet when he needed quietness. So basically Tim is saying that his word is his bond, and he means that ish till the day he dies. So I would have to say, when he said that, I believed him. In that moment, I believed him. So basically, with the death of his two sisters, he's had to discover his own mortality and his bond with that. And I was kind of like, okay, Tim, you started off a little bit, but don't let me down this time. Don't let me down this time, because you brought it out to the back when it came to Alex. Do I see Tim and Alex as a couple? Probably. So Tyler is basically saying already that he has feelings for Ashley A. Sometimes within this program, I am going to say I do worry at how fast you can fall for someone, because then I'm kind of like, is it kind of like a build-up of lust and nerves and all this, that and the other, or is it genuine feelings of love? Because you can't see them to read them at the end of the day. And with Tyler, as we said, he always goes for looks, which is his downfall, and he don't know who this woman is from Adam at the end of the day. So you know what, he isn't going to know what's going to greet him outside that door if he does decide to get engaged to her. But you know what, Ashley A is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. She is. So Garrett and Taylor meet again, and they were good. They were bouncing off each other, and then we get to Leo and Brittany. So Brittany basically asked Leo like what his first impressions were of her, and he says that Brittany was fun and bubbly and not shallow. And I was like, okay, my guy, okay. So Brittany speaks about her high pain tolerance, and then was blasé a little bit about her mum dying, to be fair. And then Leo talks about taking over the family business. And I'm like, my guy, you're going to slip into this road with this girl, not realising that this girl wants to be a kept woman. So you, being a man of means, is going to make her behave in a certain way. Let's just put it that way. So Leo tells Brittany that he grew up well off. And I would say, in my opinion, this is the first mistake he would have made with Brittany at the end of the day, because I think he shouldn't really lead with that, and he should get to know her as a person. And if he did decide to get engaged with her, then let her know about that as time went on, but don't literally throw it out there, because you need to test the mettle of someone at the end of the day. So Brittany is sitting there just like blasé, wagging her leg, finger licking her drink, and not really saying a damn thing, to be honest with you. So I'm just wondering, is she going to let Leo know her true intentions of what it is that she's actually looking for in a marriage and what she wants her husband to be to her? So Leo goes in about his inheritance, and all I can say is Brittany gave me bad juju vibes. She did, when Leo started to go in about his inheritance, and I ain't lying. Literally, you can see when that girl's brain starts to calculate. But as I said, that is my opinion on that. That is my opinion. So basically, Brittany then decides to ask the question: in marriage, would the bills be split 50-50? Leo basically says he doesn't believe in paying all of it, but he wouldn't pay 50-50 if he's earning more, so he'll pay a bit more. And Brittany, of course, was glad by this. Okay. Seeing as she wants to be a trophy wife, of course she'd be glad by this. So Brittany basically says that within her last relationship, she was taken care of 100%. So if she wanted to go gym, her gym membership, her nails, all that stuff, yeah, that she wanted done, she's letting Leo know that, you know what, I was taken care of. You know, this was paid and bought for me. I didn't have to lift a finger to get any of that. And that is what I'm expecting my husband to be. So Brittany, with her question, yeah, wasn't being genuine. She just wanted to know what type of person Leo was, now that she knew that he's a man of means. Leo did go kind of quiet, and at first I thought, okay, this may be it, because I don't think it would end too well for Brittany, because at the end of the day, not men all the time, when they are a man of means, want a woman in this day and age that can't put something into the relationship in that sense. Do you know what I mean? And not necessarily want to cater for their every need. Some men actually do, like with a bit of ambition, and not just literally want to sit back and be the proverbial trophy wife at the end of the day. Leo tells Brittany about what he's insecure about in regards to believing that women will want him for his money. Brittany didn't appear impressed. So I'm just kind of like, at this point, Leo is looking for assurance from Brittany, basically saying that if he had no money at all, or he lost it all, what he would need is a wife that is ride or die, basically. He needs someone to ride with him. Brittany says, if I wanted to be with someone for money, I would have taken the marriage proposals that I had a long time ago. I'll call BS. I'll call BS, because at the end of the day, in her VC, she says all she wants to be is a trophy wife. So basically, if you want to be a trophy wife, are you not marrying someone for the means, for the money, in order to live out that lavish lifestyle? That's why I'm saying Brittany is spinning Leo a yarn, and my guy is falling for it, lock, stock, and bloody barrel at the end of the day. I don't trust Brittany. I don't. I really don't. But I think Leo is going to be one of those guys that is literally going to see the best in her, and she's completely playing him. So Leo then talked to Tamar in the men's room, and he talks about how, again, he's boastful. That's the word I was looking for previously. Leo is very boastful in how he grew up. And this is what I was talking about. Yes, he says that he's really insecure, and basically saying that seeing if someone likes him for him is going to be a risk that he has to take. All I'm saying is I don't think Brittany is that one that he should take that risk on, but we'll see what happens. So Leo then does a turnabout in terms of Hannah, and he starts talking about how he feels some kind of connection for Hannah. I would say I didn't see that one coming at all from when they first spoke. I didn't really see that. I had a good chat, don't get me wrong, but from when they first spoke, I didn't really see that he had that connection with Hannah at the end of the day. So then it moves to Hannah and Leo having a chat. I kind of hoped that Hannah would go for Nick D, because I felt that Nick D was more comfortable in being vulnerable with Hannah, and she was open to having that chat with him. So I'm gonna be honest, I ain't feeling Leo with Hannah. at all. So Leo again brings up the fact about whether Hannah would want to know him and not his job. Leo seems a bit flat to me when he's talking with Hannah. I don't know if he's playing games with her too, because I think he's gonna go gung-ho with Brittany, because that's how I'm seeing it, but I just don't know. But you can let me know what you think in regards to that. So they do go a bit deeper in their talk, and Leo mentions to Hannah about them being twin flames, and I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay, but Hannah really as well likes Leo, and basically, but she's still open to exploring things with the other connection that she's got, which is Nick D. So I don't know what the hell's gonna happen here. So Hannah and Nick D have a date. So Nick D and Hannah are proper like flirty. So they talk about the celebrity crushes, and Nick D talks about how his crush is Beyonce and Scarlett Johansson, and Hannah accepts Scarlett Johansson at the end of the day because she's a babe. She's so is Beyonce. Beyonce's queen. And then they start to get to know each other, and Nick D is talking about how the fact that he can't wait to see Hannah, and basically he got this mental image of her. And so Hannah basically talks about her crushes and talks about that she likes Henry Cavill. Yeah, so Nick D turns around and says he kind of looks like Henry Cavill, but a less buff version of him. I was like, dude, where? Like, dude, not even where? I swear they shouldn't go down this road in doing that. They should not go down the rabbit hole like it was previously, where it was the one, was her name Vanessa? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, who said she looked like Megan Fox, and we all know how that fuck turned out when her and Jimmy met. Lord of mercy. So then they start going on about how ugly some babies look, and I have to say, I'm sorry, it is true though. It is true. Not many babies are pretty. Let's just put it that way. So Nick D is talking about how he can't wait to hold Hannah, to see her, and he's definitely full on into her. So Hannah is kind of thinking that Nick D could be the love of her life, but others think that she isn't. And I'm like, well, it's different horses for different courses at the end of the day. Hannah was kind of pissed at Ashley W, who was taking the piss when she goes back and she has the conversation with the girls. And this is why I say you need to be careful in what you say to others, because at the end of the day, these people who have an idea that they think that person is will come and rain on your parade, because they don't want to see you happy. If they're floundering in the dating world as it is, they ain't going to want to see you fucking happy and flourishing. So of course they're going to come and put the kibosh on your shit. At the end of the day, Hannah needed to do a little bit of critical thinking and stop listening to the righted white noise that was going on in the ladies' lounge from Ashley W and from Katie at the end of the day. So Taylor and Garrett meet, and they say that they have a strong intimate connection with each other, and they get into a deep conversation. So Taylor says she's not going to give her mum's name away because it will draw reference to her ethnicity. So this is when Garrett pipes up, and I have to say this was my first red flag with Garrett, because he pipes up and says, just to let you know that I've always dated white girls. So I'm like, what the does that mean, Garrett? Like, seriously, what the hell does that mean? So then he goes on this tangent thinking that Taylor is quite calculated by what she says. So basically saying that she's hiding things in terms of, like, when it came to her saying she can't say her mum's name in case it brings notice to what her possible ethnicity could be. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, don't they tell you people in there that you ain't to tell people what you look like anyway? So why is she going to bring a light down on how she may look to you? Do you know what I mean? And this was Garrett's full hang-up throughout the whole conversation. And I thought, my man, you need to let that shit go, because you ain't coming off nice at the end of the day. Because the first thing that you said when she said what she said was, I only date white girls. that would worry me. Like, seriously. Because I'd be like, well, what context do you mean? What do you think I look like? Do you think I'm black? Do you know what I mean? What ethnicity do you think I am for you to really willingly say that to me? Yeah. So the rest of the conversation for me is Garrett literally trying to know what Tyler's ethnicity is and trying to basically guilt her into it by saying that by talking about the next step and wanting to ensure that, you know, he knows everything he needs to know about her. Bogus. Absolutely bogus. So Tyler rightfully says and turns around and says that at the end of the day, I would be hurt if I gave away my possible ethnicity to you and it doesn't end up working out. Wise choice, Tyler. Wise choice. Garrett is playing some kind of master manipulator game right there. So master manipulator game right there. So Ashley A and Tyler basically have a chat and they be absolutely food porning each other at the end of the day. So they talk about cooking and the fact that Tyler likes to cook. Tyler's basically saying that he wants to have an equal partnership in their marriage. So they both blow each other's horns about themselves at the end of the day, and their interests are both the same, to be honest with you. So they're totally vibing from each other. They talk about each other's parents, and Tyler talks about how his mum was basically cut out of her father's life for dating outside of her race because his mum is Serbian. And I was like, well, that's a lot to deal with as a kid, do you know what I mean? And also as you get into adulthood, because that's a part of your identity gone, that's your whole maternal family gone, because at the end of the day, Garrett did say that he was just literally brought up with his mom and with his nan, because that's who they lived with. So basically Tyler talked about how he saw his mother struggle, and it's those experiences that would have shaped him fully. And then he starts to get emotional, and I'm like, oh, this is nice to see, do you know what I mean, that he's basically opening up to Ashley A at the end of the day. So basically Tyler is saying that he wants someone he can show love to, but I'm kind of like, will that compute when they see each other? But we shall see. Tyler is already probably seeking to marry Ashley A at the end of the day, wanting to ask her. So now we have Leo in the men's lounge talking about how he seems to be feeling Brittany and seems that he and her would be attracted to each other outside of the pods. I'm like, Leo, what game are you playing at now? Because now you're not feeling Hannah. So all the guys are starting to debate Hannah's personality. And I'm like, my guys, yous lot are proving Brittany right about now that she could have any one of yous at the end of the day. Brittany to me is a facade with no actual substance. Then what she's setting out to get from someone is to take care of her fully financially. That's the end of. Whereas Hannah, I believe, is a little bit more real. Do you know what I mean? So I think I really do think that Hannah wants Nick D rather than Leo. But the situations that arise make Hannah do the dumbest thing I've ever seen anyway. So Hannah's talking to the girls about the multiple connections that she's made, and of course they start to dissect Nick D. It doesn't look good for Nick D because he's already got 2 women in there that are against him because of how he started off his journey into the dating realm with them. So I would say that even though Nick D has charm, he connected a lot more with Hannah and he shared a lot more with her. I think he needs to open up and be vulnerable with her completely and let her know that I want you sort of thing. This ain't a game for me, because I think that's how Hannah's seen it. And as again, she's listening to all the white noise that's going on in the back. Yeah, that is making her make those decisions against him, basically. So she doesn't know whether he is flirty or whether he's being true and genuine with his feelings with her. And for her, it gives her the little bit of a heebie-jeebie vibe. Nick D is all about Hannah, and Hannah has her doubts. So within that, it's clear to me that Hannah has a lot of insecurities, and I mean a lot of insecurities in how she sees herself to others, especially especially how men view her as well. And I think she's placing her insecurities right now on Nick D, which is not fair. Don't get me wrong, she should ask her questions of him and what's weighing on her. I think she needed to tell him why she was so concerned about him and be vulnerable in that moment with him, in order to get the truthfulness in terms of the questions that you're asking at the end of the day. Because I think Hannah is putting her insecurities and her hang-ups definitely all on Nick D, and I don't think it's fair. Hannah's basically saying that she's scared when she's talking to Nick, that you like me because you think I'm hot. I don't think Hannah understands his flirt at all, and she's second guessing everything, and basically she's saying that she has this gut feeling about him and she can't figure it out. So basically Nick is literally fighting for his life up in that scenario, and basically saying that he don't give a fuck what she looks like. At the end of the day, he wants her. But because of the white noise that's been going on, I honestly believe that Hannah is not listening to the words that are coming out of Nick D's mouth, basically, because he's literally sitting there fighting for her. So she kind of ends it with him, and I think she ends it with him because of the conversation that she had previously with Leo, in that he was literally throwing all this gobshite crap her way, even though Leo is liking Brittany more than he's liking Hannah. So Hannah may have well shot herself in the foot when it came to Nick D, and you see that when it comes to the end of this episode, because after she's sitting there and she lets them know that, you know what, she's let things go with Nick D, and Nick D's upset when he does go back, because he literally said that was my girl. Like, Hannah was his girl. He was being absolutely genuine. And you see Hannah and you see what's her name, Brittany, come back in and literally talk about her date, and then let slip who she had the date with, which was Leo. Then she was like, oh my God, I didn't mean to say that. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She did mean to say that. And then straight away, Hannah feels like a fool. Hannah feels like an absolute fool, because she didn't realize that Leo was getting to know Brittany behind her back too. Do you know what I mean? So now she's thinking to herself, oh my God, did I make the wrong mistake with Nick D? I thought, well, that's your plan to play, my love. You did what you did, gung-ho, listening to all the white noise and building into your own insecurities, rather than sitting back and actually sitting by yourself and sitting back and thinking, what is it do I want? What is it that I'm worried about? Have that proper conversation with Nick D. If he reassures you and you feel better from that reassurance, then you go for it. But I don't think Hannah was thinking about that at all. She really wasn't. So now she's left herself out on a limb, because if Leo picks Brittany, you ain't got nobody. So I'm kind of thinking that if Leo does pick Brittany, I think it may come down to it. This is how it was looking to me anyway, that Hannah may have the option to go back and work things out with Nick D, but we'll see. Anyway, that's where I am leaving it right now. This is a long episode, as you can see, because the episode itself on the TV was an hour long and there was a lot for me to talk about. Anyway, I'll be back in quick succession with the next one as soon as I can. So again, thank you all for rocking with me. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all the good things that you do, because again, I am on the road to 1K. Peace out, my people.